Hello and welcome back to Rainwood Acres. Today we're going to start a cool series called the Vehicle Emergency Kit series, where we're going to kind of look at an older series where we talked Winter Prep series, which was focused on vehicles. That information there, for most of it, is still relevant today and useful, in my opinion. Of course, I created it, so of course it is. But we're going to get a little more deep into it, and we're going to talk about some new things and get it more relevant in this series. The biggest thing we're going to do here is I want you to take is if you're asking yourself this situation, hey, am I prepared in all aspects of my life? And that you could have the best, well situated homestead in the world with a very deep pantry and deep freezers and stored food and all this other great stuff to prepare yourself for any situation that might come your way. But if you're out away from your home, what do? Well, a lot of us like to carry some sort of EDCs to help us if we find ourselves in a bad situation. And our vehicle is, in my opinion, a extension of our home, right? It is a vessel that can provide you temporary shelter and carry additional survival emergency items that can help provide you those, that life-saving things you're going to need to get you through 24, 48 hours maybe. Hopefully you don't end up in a situation longer. They have happened, in the mountains, people getting stuck in the snow. And some of those have ended very poorly, and some of people have done some pretty extraordinary things to survive, even though they weren't prepared. So that rolls us into the next topic, right, is location and climate. Your location meaning really kind of, that affects your climate typically, but then also like, do you live in a rural area but you travel to the city? Or do you live in the city and you just travel 3 miles to get to work? That's going to affect how what your most common situation is, and help you develop a kit that meets those situations. We're going to talk types of kits, and it's good to have separate kits. I like to talk vehicle EDCs. What I like things that stay, like maybe have a small first aid kit and a few other things in the glove box. It just stays there. It's not something I'm going to take out because I need space in the trunk or in the back or whatever to haul more people or haul some stuff because I'm going to the store to pick up something and I need the space, or in the side pockets in the door, that type of thing, or in the center console. Those little kits that stay there all the time, except for maybe when you pull them out occasionally and inspect them and make sure everything's still in good condition and serviceable. And then talk seasonal, right? So if you live someplace that doesn't have winter weather, like say Florida, really, and I've never lived there, so but the point is you're probably not going to get a winter storm that's going to accumulate inches or feet of snow overnight or while you're at work and now you need to try to get home, that type of situation. So seasonal kits are for more of those that have to deal with those type of circumstances. Heat is another factor, but we'll talk that here in a second. So the U, as I kind of already talked about, your family size, miles traveled, types of roads, and areas traveled through, right? You're going through them, city, all urban city driving or rural driving, or you have a portion of rural driving and a portion of city or a combination there of both. Locations and climate, as I already mentioned, where you live, and then the types of climates you have to deal with. Types of kits, yes, there's a lot of those all-in-one kits out there. Most of them, in my opinion, are junk, especially if they seem very affordable. And then the really nice ones are really expensive. So I will give you some tips along the way and show you some things that you can build your own. If you have the income to not be concerned about spending several $100s or more on the fancy ones, then go right ahead. But I prefer to build my own because it helps me build it for me and my situation, as we talked there in the beginning. Already touched the vehicle EDCs. We'll go into those. I have several in all my vehicles. That also kind of changes. Hey, do you bounce around vehicles? We have multiple vehicles. I have a family. I have a teenager driving now too. So that changes things. So you want to, and it can get obviously a lot more expensive if you have to build kits for each vehicle. That's where we'll talk where EDCs I think fall in really good, where those little kits in each vehicle, and then maybe you have your bag that you grab for yourself, and then your family members have their own that they can move to if they move vehicles. So that's something to consider, right? And we'll talk that in detail in another video. All right. Situational and seasonal and situational, already discussed that. Situational, not so much, is, for example, those add-on items that you should be adding to your vehicle when you're getting ready to travel long distances. Especially like for us here in Washington. Great example would be we're leaving our home in southwestern Washington, traveling through the Cascade Mountains during the winter, situational, right? To somewhere in eastern Washington, or driving all the way over to Idaho or something like that. And it's myself and 2 other family members. Well, that's going to affect what I put in there. One blanket, maybe not sufficient. Only, 1 bottle of water is not going to be sufficient. So you're going to have to adapt those. And of course, then I'm going to want to add my winter kit. That's going to be things like, unless you already carry those, it's going to be things like shovels and traction devices and stuff like that. We'll talk that, of course, all in detail. That kind of wraps it up. Really, the biggest thing here is we're going to be covering all these. I hope you continue to watch. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more about what we do here at the Ravenwood Acres, or at Ravenwood Acres, check out theravenwoodacres.com. You have all the resources, all of our social media links to there. All they'll also be down below. Of course, have a great day.